So it has continued to trade sideways following on from our previous update, where I mentioned how there were two potential setups that were in play, with one of which being slightly bullish and one of which being slightly bearish. And the bearish case was for a deeper correction made up of a double XY structure. And for that to have taken place, what we needed was for the price of ADA to have breached below the previous local bottom at 25.04 cents. But as you can see, the complete opposite ended up taking place, where we ended up breaching above the previous local top at 28.43 cents, and that then further confirmed that we had a WXY structure forming to the upside, where I mentioned it was possible that the Y wave could then tap into this range between around 32 cents to 34 cents. So if I draw this in, what I'm looking at for right now is for the price of ADA to be within this Y wave. And yeah, the Y wave would typically reach anywhere between 1 to 1.236 of the W wave, which is this target here. And as it stands, it looks like we have a impulsive move that was formed. So if I was to bring in the fib tool, bring this to 25.75 cents. So for a 5-wave structure to form the wave 3, at the bare minimum, we'll have to reach the 1.618 level. And you can see that we ended up exceeding that level. And so it's very much possible, if I was to draw this in, that we could have formed the 5-wave structure. And in turn, that could then complete the Y wave. And that could then be the completion of this corrective move to the upside. And we could see a reversal. Or alternatively, it's possible that we are still within this 5-wave structure. And this correction that we're currently witnessing at the moment could be the wave 4. And then we see a final push to the upside to then complete the 5th wave, which in turn would then complete the Y wave. And for this structure to be in play, the wave 4 cannot breach below the wave 1. And that level is over here at 26.96 cents. And as it stands, it looks like we are on the brink of breaching below that level. And if we do so, that then invalidates this 5-wave structure. And should that be the case, that will then lead to one of two things playing out, where it's possible that we could have completed the 5-wave structure, which in turn could then complete the Y wave. And then we see a reversal to the downside where we then breach below this level here. Or it's possible that we are still within this Y wave. And this 5-wave structure could then form part of an internal WXY structure. So in essence, this 5-wave structure could then form the W wave, and then this correction here could form the X wave, and then we see a final push to the upside to then complete the Y wave, which in turn will then complete this Y wave here. And so as it stands, I'm leaning more towards either a internal WXY structure forming or the completion of the Y wave, and then we see a reversal to the downside. And if I was to remove this for now and check to see what's taking place over here, what I will be looking at is for a deeper correction, like so. So if I was to bring in the fib tool, bring this to 28.99 cents. So short-term ADA has the potential to reach anywhere between around 26 cents to 26.5 cents. So this region here. And from there, again, this double XY structure could then form the X wave, and then we see a reversal where we can then tap into this range here. Or if it just so happens that we exceed this region and continue to go even deeper, that then confirm that we have formed this double XY structure and we're bearish, and we could see a deep move to the downside. And you can see that on the stochastic RSI, we are within the oversold conditions. And so at some point, I'm looking at for the bulls to regain control of the market. Ideally, what I'd like to see is the bulls drive the price of ADA above the 50 and 20 EMA, and then even retest the 200 DMA. And that would be a good signal that we are slightly bullish. And if I just go on the 8-hour chart, again, we are within the oversold conditions. And so at some point, I'm looking at for the bulls to regain control of the market. And on the daily chart, you can see that the bears have the momentum. And of course, that is reflected on the price chart. And so short term, again, we could potentially see ADA tap into this range here, and I will be looking at for a reversal. If we manage to exceed this range, that would then confirm that we're bearish, and we could see a deep move to the downside, where I'm looking at for the price of ADA to then tap into this range between around 18 to 20 cents. But of course, that's something I'm going to be looking at for in the days and weeks to come, and I'll keep you guys updated.